Hello and welcome to Budget with Brian, and today we're going to take a look at a interesting product. You've probably seen these on a few other videos on other channels, but I've taken the plunge and bought one. This is a set of metal trestles made by Bora, which I'm going to go through why I selected those over some of the others, because there's loads of others on the market. But if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, it really helps if you hit that subscribe button and ding the bell. As always, it's nice to see you join us. So before I get to the unboxing, why did I buy a set of these? Well, I've got a couple of very specific requirements. First of all, my little workshop here is quite small. It's 3 meters wide by well, this room here is 3 meters by 3 meters, and I'm planning for this to be a little office. Maybe this is where I'm going to be editing some videos. And then the main part of the workshop, it's really a garage, is 3 meters by 6. So I wanted something that I needed a workbench or a table, something that was an assembly table, something that I could use ad hoc. And these fold up pretty small. You can see this box isn't particularly big, but it is, as it says, pretty heavy, which is a little bit of a surprise, but it is built very well. And the second reason for getting a set of these metal trestles is I'm seriously thinking about getting rid of my Makita table saw, because it takes up a lot of space and I don't use it very much. And what I'm thinking is get one of these trestle tables together, which is very portable, plus also it doesn't take up a lot of space when it's packed away, and get a decent plunge saw. What do you think there in the comments? Do you think that maybe you can get away with a table without having a table saw and just having a track saw? Is the table saw more superior? Interested in your comments. So let's get to the unboxing. As I said, this box is reasonably heavy actually. It's 17.35 kilograms. So, although, yeah, it is easy enough to carry by yourself, there might be times where that might be awkward, but let's see. So there we go, there's the box initially. Some nice packaging, stop these from getting damaged. There is seemingly an instruction manual taped to each one, because you can buy these separately. This set cost me roughly £110 delivered, and I'll put a link to where you can get those below. But they're pretty available. Another reason why I went for this one out over some of the others is I do like that colour. Now, a friend of mine might call this mango yellow, but I'm going to say that that is a very nice 70s orange. Now, there are quite a few of these types of speed horse or metal sawhorses on the market. I felt that the Bora one was the one that had come out first, or certainly that's the one I seem to remember seeing coming out first. And it had some sort of specific features which some of the others don't, and that is the quick release. So there's a bit more packaging to remove, which I'll do now, but let's just go through some of the stickers. So it says it'll take a maximum capacity or weight of 1,500 pounds or 682 kilograms. It has a slot either side where you can put in some timbers, and I'll show you that in a bit. So here's what I was talking about, that quick release. It shows that it's a little finger pull just there, So you've got a handle in the top there that you can hold, and then you've got just that quick release finger pull, and which I thought was important because, you know, these things are relatively heavy. Maybe you're carrying one in each hand and you want to be able to put the thing down without maybe bending over or putting them down gently. You know, you just want to pull the trigger, have the legs flick out, and there we go, it's stood. All of the others, brands of sawhorse, metal sawhorse that I've seen, they don't have that feature, and I felt that that was more important to me than over price, because this is a premium product, this one. Now, in first picking this up, it is a little bit awkward to carry. Now, some of them have a handle that goes over the top, and I think that is probably a better design. But of course, this is designed for you to be able to screw a timber across the top as a sort of sacrificial cutting platform, which of course would mean that the handle's then buried, but it wouldn't hurt to have maybe both. And perhaps if I put a sacrificial timber over there, I could recess a little handle in there, which wouldn't be difficult to make. I'll have a look to see if I can find some plastic handles. It's kind of like a sort of thin strip, and then you have like it's got a slot in it, so that it will, you know, bend and become a U-shaped handle, and or then lay flat. I'll have a look to see that, and then I could make my own handle, which I'm happy to do because, you know, this is catering for my own personal needs. So that's a customization. But let's see if we can do the sexy bit of seeing the legs swinging out. So it does seem like it's a two-handed operation, you know, because I need to hold it like that. I can't hold it like that and get my fingers to it. So it does seem like it's a two-handed maneuver, but here we go. Now, that is literally the first time I've done that, and it's just worked perfectly, which is great. And I think a good safety feature for being able to get this stood without having to bend or, you know, have the fear of falling over or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I have to say that is a sturdy structure. Let's try the other one. Again, same situation. Needs to be two-handed. Done. That's impressive, actually. Now it's got this strip along the top here. It's kind of a little bit like sandpaper. It's an anti-slip, which is good. But on both of these sawhorses out of the box, they had started to peel away, but I have just smoothed them down, and that's worked out fine. But you can see here you have some screw holes here, which is so that you can screw upwards into that sacrificial timber I was talking about. And the idea is that you know, when you're cutting or whatever, you don't go through the metal and destroy your lovely new sawhorse. You do it like that. Now, I have to say, these advertising stickers I'd probably like to peel off, but because, you know, I kind of want to see the tool for what it is. I don't want to have an advert all over it. But yeah, I think that's probably staying put. I can probably get rid of that Trimove sticker though. I bet that leaves a mess. No, it's not going to leave a mess. It's going to come off nicely. Good. So walking round the Speed Horse here, the Bora Speed Horse, this is where that timber goes in, and I'll show you that where you link the two together, and so we can create a table, because that's what we're going to do today. It does have these little stands here, and the idea of that is to be placing sheet material on there while it's not being used, or, you know, you can see the use for that. That's useful. It has some very nice sturdy feet, plastic covered, and yeah, 30 times faster deployment. I would agree with that. And again, there's some screw holes in there so you can secure those timbers going the other way. So this is the configuration I'm going to use these in initially. I'm just going to create a little table or a little workbench to to work at. And yeah, what I'm going to do is put some timbers across and show you that in action, and then I'm going to put a worktop on top of it, which is just just a sheet of wood, and hopefully I've got one a decent size. So here's my first negative comment about the Bora Speed Horse, is this gap here. It's 40mm, not 45, which means pretty much typically most of the timbers that you would find on a work site won't fit. Now I do see on other makes that this section here is adjustable. It has a sliding part that comes in and out, and that to me seems to be a better design. There is a nice feature here though, that to put the legs away, which I perhaps should do before, show you that before we start building a table, is that once this piece of timber's in here, it prevents you from being able to lift the lever up for the legs to fold in. So that's a reasonable safety feature actually, that once the legs are locked in position and you've got that timber in place, that there's no way of accidentally getting those legs to kick in from underneath you and your platform collapsing. So good safety feature there, but minus points for this 40mm gap, which seems to me to be not sensible. But yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. I suspect, I believe Bora is an American company, so these might be aimed towards an American dimension. So I wonder what that is in inches. 1.5 inches. Right, there's your answer. It takes 1.5 inches. Now, fortunately, I did actually have a little bit of 1.5 inches, or what this is in metric, looks more like 30, come on, let's have that focus, 35mm-ish. Yeah, 35mm, 36, something like that. Well, wood swells, doesn't it? Yeah, and these sticks are pretty inexpensive. And that's the beginnings of our table. So for this temporary solution that I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these across here, and then I'm going to just put a top on there, just so I've got something to work at. So unfortunately, I actually don't have a full sheet of ply here, which I thought I did. So I've just got this cut down piece of OSB, which probably isn't really what I should be using on here. But yes, there's a number of manufacturers that are doing something very similar. I suspect really these are all made by the same company in China, and rebadged for their particular markets. Yeah, it would be nice to see these in Makita or Festool colours. Of course, the price point would be very much different, and really, Bora have been great at bringing these to market and getting people aware that this type of product exists, which I think is great. But I did find it, while I was selecting which ones to go for, a number of others of note. So there's one by a company called XL. Again, I'll put links to where you can get those below. They had got some sort of specific features, certainly around these jaws, which were adjustable perhaps, and they were slightly cheaper. They came in at something like £80 the pair, and they also had adjustable legs for height, which was great, but it didn't have that one killer feature that I wanted, which was the self-deploying legs, because I felt that this would be perhaps a one-handed operation. Turns out it isn't. I just felt that the Bora Speed Horse were probably the originals. But yeah, they would be a very good alternative to these ones, I would suggest. Also, and I'm a fan of Evolution tools, they make some a much keener price point at around £40, less featured, but if you need more of them and not using all of the features, then why wouldn't you look at something that's a slightly keener price in that area? And hopefully we'll be able to have a look at those at some point in the future. But I kind of feel that to compete in this market, they do need to at least be at the same sort of level as these Bora ones. Again, the main killer feature for me was this one touch quick release for the legs, I felt that that was for me. Thanks again for watching Budget with Brian. If you like this type of content, please do hit that subscribe button and ding the bell. It does make a great difference to how other people find our videos. And of course, we'd like to see you again when we publish some more. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget, subscribe!